very common example, one in real life that we see, and it has to do with something called the BMI, the body mass index. Okay? So the body mass index is something that can tell you basically if you need to gain weight or lose weight. But a lot of people don't like it because it only describes two factors, right? It relies upon your weight and your height. Right? But there's other things that affect our BMI. So not BMI, but our overall health. And so some people say, well, that's not really fair. What if I'm a short person? I'm always going to have a high BMI, right? My husband's the same way. He's shorter, so he's always mad about his BMI. Okay, so how would I describe this relationship? Here's what I would say. The BMI varies directly to your weight. So if your weight goes up, your BMI goes up. So I'm going to say directly as my weight, okay? But as my height goes up, my BMI actually goes down, right? So those are inversely related, and it's a very special relationship. It's actually my height squared that's happening down there. So we'd say inversely related to the square of my height. So when something is inversely affecting you, as your quantity goes up, it goes down, and vice versa. That's an inverse relationship. I wanted to show you this one because it's one of the few that you're going to see in class today where there's more than one type of variation happening, right? It's not just directly tied to my weight, it's also inversely tied to my height in a certain way. Okay, so that's a very strange one, but it's a lot of our real relationships in life have lots of different things that affect things, okay? So it's not just one little quantity related to another. But a more simplistic situation is my cell phone bill. Okay? For me personally, I'm on a plan where my bill is fixed every month, but if I use too much data, my bill goes up. So that's my situation. Yours might be different. Okay? So in my situation, I would say my cell phone bill varies directly to the number of gigabytes of data that I use. So if I use too many gigabytes, my bill goes up by a certain amount. That would be this situation where I multiply by the number of gigabytes that I used extra. So they're on the same line for direct variation. On the other hand, I could say the amount of free time I have varies inversely as the number of children I have. So if I have more children, perhaps I'm going to have less free time. Right? So as one goes up, the other goes down. That's an inverse relationship. Finally, my last class helped me think of this problem. Okay? If you're trying to gain weight so that you can maybe be in a certain weight class to compete in boxing or MMA fighting, okay, sometimes people are at the gym, they're trying to actually gain weight. And so what do? They try to eat a lot of protein, and they try to weight lift a lot, right? So both of those things will help them achieve their goal, okay? So I would say that my weight gain, if I was trying to gain weight that way, would vary jointly. Now, that's a different word we haven't seen yet on the screen, okay? Jointly meaning it's direct, but there's multiple factors that affect it. So it's a direct variation with the protein that I consume, and as well as the weightlifting that I do. Okay? So those are basically examples in real life of how things relate to each other. They can directly affect each other, they can inversely affect each other, or they can directly do it in multiple times or jointly. Okay? In this case, we had them mixed together, so be aware of that. So what I'd like for us to do is, that was a nice practical application. I would like for us to get into the nitty-gritty now and practice how to do this. So back to that slide that you guys looked at for a minute. I'll scoot this over here. Feel free to take pictures afterwards. It'll be right there for you. What we're going to do now is take a look at a game plan for how to set problems like this up.